r/ask Reddit. Which socially acceptable behavior makes you cringe? Asking people why they're still single. Or when they are going to have babies because everyone else your age has kids. People talk about having kids as if providing for one is the easiest thing in the world. Speaking ill of your significant other constantly. If they're so awful, why are you with them? I wouldn't be with someone I had cause to speak poorly of, and I certainly wouldn't want my so to be bitching about me every day. As a 31-year-old single person, it drives me ducking insane when people my age tell me, dude, you're so lucky you're single. Stay single as long as you can. Like, no, still being single in your 30s kind of sucks sometimes. Believe it or not, it's your own fault you are miserable in your relationship. Forcing food on people. If I tell you I don't want food or I'm full, please believe me, it's awful trying to go on a diet when your co-workers keep trying to force you to eat the office cupcakes. If you tell them you're on a diet, they feel compelled to reassure you about your weight. If you try to politely decline food, they keep asking you, are you sure? Just one cupcake won't hurt. There's no winning. I just tell them sorry, I don't eat anymore, and they get really confused. That's a good way to give your Italian grandmother a heart attack. Rubbing a pregnant woman's belly. Not pregnant, maybe in the future. If that ever happens to me, I plan to rub their belly in return. Whoever it is. Taking pictures of everything you do and posting them online. Playing your music at full blast from a speaker when you're in public. Yeah, a lot of people find it annoying, but the fact that so many people can do it and not be embarrassed means it's becoming socially acceptable. I am so sick of people letting their kids watch YouTube videos on full volume in public. Give your kid some ducking headphones. Old married couples being awful to each other, especially when they try to involve me in it too. No thank you. I don't want anything to do with your misery and dysfunction. I see you've met my parents. People that can't hold normal discussions and instead start to scream or get very angry because your opinion isn't true according to them. Asking people about their marriage procreation plans at social events. Like WTF. That's deeply personal, and you never even know if people aren't trying but having trouble conceiving. Anyways, how's your sex life? Oh, hi Mark. Spitting. The pool I work at gets a lot of people from China who are constantly spitting on the side of the pool and in the water. That's not socially acceptable. In China it is. I don't know if anybody has said this yet, but shit talking service workers. Sure, working at Denny's or McDonald's isn't the most glamorous or stable job, but it's still a job. If you're going to shit on these people, you don't deserve your drunken stack of flapjacks at 3 in the morning. The same goes for gas station attendants, janitors, cabbies, cashiers, waiters, and any other job that can land you under minimum wage. If you don't respect the person performing a service, you shouldn't get the service, period. Totally agree. In high school I worked at McDonald's, and I couldn't believe how horrible some people treat you for working in fast food, especially a grown adult treating a high school kid that way. Now that I'm an adult with a child of my own, I teach him to always respect people at those places, especially if you don't want your food spit into LOL. Why do people lick their fingers to separate my papers at the printer? Maybe I don't want your saliva on my report, Karen. I work at a bank and people lick money to count it. With Canadian money this actually makes it harder to count. I put licked money in a counting machine and a couple people are starting to be like, why aren't you counting it yourself? But it's because you ducking licked it, you moron. The culture in retail where someone can complain about some small slight or small defect that doesn't affect anything in the slightest, and corporate will bend over backwards rewarding the customer and punishing the employee for following the rules they set in the first place. Not only does this behavior breed resentment among your employees, but it also trains your customers to behave horribly in order to get free stuff. I don't usually make posts on Facebook and proceeds to go into a 5-paragraph political essay. Controversial but gay flirting culture. I live in a pretty gay friendly area, but it is really common to see people get backed into corners, groped, ass slapping, etc. It's completely obnoxious and in many cases qualifies as sexual assault. Shame on you. I wouldn't call it flirting. I'd say it's straight up gay sexual harassment culture. Guys get too handsy in the bars. Usually I'll excuse the first attempt, but there's always a couple guys who just won't back off. I once dated a girl who died of an unknown reason. Aneurysm? Mild heart attack? We didn't yet know. Within a couple weeks I was at work, and across a quiet, crowded room of mostly strangers, a mutual work friend asks, hey, did they find out what happened with my girlfriend who just died tragically at a relatively young age? Keep in mind we're talking about an adult in their 30s who should know better. Just because the question sounds innocent doesn't mean that it's okay to ask one of the people closest to the deceased, who's still in the morning, in front of a bunch of strangers at work. I swear to God, if you're not legally related to the deceased, people think they can just talk to you about them like they're a fact instead of someone hugely important to you. Some people just have no clue about grieving. They mean nothing by it, but it's still a tough thing to deal with in the throes of grief. Turning non-political conversations into political ones. Shit gets on my nerves so much. I like turning political conversations into non-political conversations. Tons of people showing up to the hospital when a couple have just given birth, stripping the parents of relaxing bonding time between them and their baby just so they can all pass around and hold the baby and expose it to every germ they have. It rubs me raw. Forced small talk. I'm not talking about, oh hey, we're at a party or a work meet and we actually should be communicating and networking to try to find common group to make our daily lives a little easier. I mean, hey, I'm a stranger you will never see again in your life. We are having much weather. People who apparently think that it is okay to have a conversation on speakerphone while out in public regardless of where. People who announce that they're about to leave social media before they do. It makes sense if social media is the main way you'd contact them before, though I'd rather they do than to find out I tried contacting them in vain for months. This seems to be mostly a baby boomer generation thing, but arguing with people at stores and restaurants etc when the workers do not bow down, bend the will of the universe and change the rotation of the earth for you. Here's a hint, duckers. It's called the heliocentric model because the earth revolves around the sun, not you. Gender reveal parties for expectant parents. I saw one the other day where even the parents didn't know. A friend of theirs did, who was in charge of the surprise. In an office, scented candles, oil burners, diffusers, or any other device designed to pump a scent into the air. I hate them so much. They smell like cleaning supplies and they're so strong that I can actually taste them. Which pisses me off when I'm eating lunch and my sandwich turns Lysol flavored. They are olfactory terrorism. People applauding sarcastically when a waiter/waitress breaks something. People making an effort to be different for the sake of being different. Dressing strangely and liking things simply because of how obscure they are. Acting pretentious about it. Being condescending towards people who don't share the same obscure tastes as you. In short, hipsters. Making out with your so on public transit in restaurant stores. Edit. Typo. Adults having temper tantrums to get their way. Posting political memes. This goes for both sides. I'll look at them, laugh, and move on. But when people post them as if they're truth, I just shake my head. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.